Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. It is I, Nicholas Monty, and on the other line is... Q? Buddy? Oh, that's right, he's not there. No, this is a special episode of Monty's Mayhem. Not because Q's not there. He's always special in my heart. I had a chance to interview Cody Walker. He is the man in charge of the Kickstarter and the writer of Noir City. It's a great book that I found on Kickstarter. I had a chance to be able to sit down with him, and I wanted to play the interview. And here it is. All right, Cody. So the $1 million question, the kind of the obvious one, I guess anyone should start off with. Noir City. Can you give us a little insight of what this book's about?
Yeah. Ultimately, my friend Rich and we started talking about Noir City, I want to say like in 2004, 2005. So when I was a freshman in college, we were just kind of talking about like what kind of superhero books we like and things. And I think that really, I mean, its origins come from like 1940s noir movies, like, Maltese Falcon, which is probably the most mainstream choice that I could make there. I'm sure that the noir hipsters out there are like, oh, why not, Black Dahlia or something? I don't know. But Maltese Falcon was I saw the movie like 1 billion times as a kid, and so it's like, a pretty big influence. But I think another pretty huge influence is Batman the Animated Series. And you can kind of see that in some of the things. Like we made sure that we tried to include police blimps.
Which, by the way, the best Batman as well, I have to say.
Oh my gosh.
Personal opinion, totally. Just personally.
Oh, no, you're totally right. I mean, it's scientific fact. It's not just personal opinion. It's been proven. Okay, good. But it really is. It's just like, man, it's the best. It was the best animated series of all time and best form of Batman, and that's kind of where Noir City comes from in some ways. Is just that trying to capture sort of that mysterious feel, the feel of the city being kind of a character in and of itself. We've got just tons of like backstory and stuff that just slowly leaks out. That first issue, we've got the first 5 pages. You have like this very heroic guy who's like, he's dealing with his friend dying. And then you think, oh, this is the hero of the book, and then he just dies on page 5 or page 4 and 5. He gets his brains blown out, and we don't address that in issue 2 at all. I mean, we kind of hint at it and we poke around at it, but we're not just jumping in and saying, hey, here's who this guy was, because that's not noir. Noir is very much like setting up all these questions, starting in media res. Maybe you'll get some of the answers, maybe you won't. I think something else that kind of has a bit of influence, whether we knew it or not, is sort of like Cowboy Bebop in a way. Because, in Cowboy Bebop, you have all these very established characters. You know that there's something going on with Spike Spiegel, but you never really get a full sense of who he ever was. And that's kind of, I think that had an influence on us as well. In some ways, and so yeah.
I was to say, like, the one thing about the book is, and with just any kind of noir storylines, I think one thing there's 2 elements that's always very that stands out more than anything. There's always like that woman who you never know quite really what she's going to be doing in the book, like what the role is going to be, because it plays off as a very damsel in distress, because that was always like the big kind of storyline way back when, and also just the areas themselves, like the lights and the darks. The contrast between from panel to panel is always very important. Yeah, and that it happens from pretty much the very beginning to the very end of the book too. Yeah,
for sure. And it's funny you mentioned the like the damsel in distress, femme fatale type character and stuff. Like when we wrote the first issue, you have our first issue has our hero of the story, Glenn, he saves this woman from being like mugged or killed or something like that. He realizes that she's in the mob, and then he can't save her, and so that kind of fuels his mission to go on and be a hero. And after the first Kickstarter was funded and we got it all together and stuff, I kind of waited. I was like, I don't know if I want to do another issue just yet, and so we kind of put it off, and then I finally was like, let's just do a second issue. I'm ready now. I think my kid is older now. He was about 7 months when we were starting it, and so I was like, I'm a new father still, but not like quite so new. I think I can get this done. I think we can get this together, and so I'm reading the second issue, and our process usually is that Rich will send me the issue. And then I'll kind of go over his notes. So I was looking over the script for issue 2, and I realized that here we had, this woman in issue 1, Amanda Wolf, in issue 1, who is pretty much a very major character, and she's not addressed at all in the second issue. Like we didn't even mention her. And so I was like, well, that just seems weird. Like it's sort of like it's a woman in refrigerators, type issue. Where you have a character who was created specifically just to fuel the hero, and then we went and killed her off. And I was like, man, that's wrong. We can't do that. And so I went back and we restructured that issue, and we changed it and we fixed it. And so now her role is actually quite a bit bigger than what it was supposed to be before. And so we'll see that she actually is going to be still in the book, even though she's dead. Her spirit still kind of goes on and is coming back as as sort of a haunted spirit. And so yeah, it's a little bit different of a take, and I'm hoping that people that read the first issue will read the second issue, so they'll go, hey, wait a second, I thought this was supposed to be sort of a standard detective story, and it is not,
Excellent.
So but yeah.
Now, what you were saying before, like what happened was about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, give or take, someone was like, oh yeah, this Kickstarter website, they you can fund things and you get rewards, blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, let me check it out. And literally what I did was just like anything, like you feel like listening to certain kind of music or watch a certain type of movie, I literally typed in Noir comic book.
Oh yeah.
And your thing was the first thing that popped up, and
That's
so like
awesome.
your first issue was the first experience I ever had with Kickstarter, just to check out the website in general.
Oh, cool.
So in terms of someone who was like looking to get their book funded through Kickstarter, what did you think of the whole fundraising process?
It was, if I'm being 100% honest, it was more emotionally draining than I thought it would be.
How so?
Because you sort of expect, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to have so much fun raising this money. It's going to be easy. And, I was on Twitter and Facebook every night, every day and night, like tweeting to people, trying to get the word out, going to different websites, going to different comic places and sending emails. And it's a huge PR game. And it's not, if you go into it thinking, oh, all I have to do is make this page and set a goal, and then people will find it, and I'll get all this money. That's not really the way it goes. I think it's amazing that's how you found us, because that's how it's, in my mind, that's kind of how it's supposed to happen in some ways. Someone just sort of stumbles upon you.
Pretty much.
But yeah, the majority of of the money we made is basically from friends and family that you just kind of are begging to help you make your dreams come true. And I'm really appreciative of those people, and they're really fantastic. But after that first Kickstarter, I felt pretty lousy, and I felt like I had begged all these people for money, and then I thought afterward, oh, well, what if this sucks? Like, what if they hate it? And part of that too is that not all of the art had come in yet, and so I wasn't really sure how the rest of the book was going to look. I had a few of the pages, but we didn't have all of it. This issue, I'm a lot more confident because our artist is completely and totally finished. And so I know what everything looks like, and it looks really great. And so there's less risk this time around. But there's all sorts of other problems with having an issue 2, is that, people that didn't go into issue 1, they think, oh, well, I want to understand this, or even though there's a reward for issue 1 as well. And so in my mind, I think that there's a little bit of hesitation on the part of some backers because they just, they don't know what they're getting into, or they feel like they've missed out or something like that.
And I mean, I will say this just to add that onto that. Like, I think I'm pretty sure you have like one reward where you can get like PDFs of or digital copies of both issues for like $7. So I mean, at bare minimum, I think that's one of the best options for anyone who's kind of hesitant, no matter what. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that was one of the things too. Is I knew that going into it. I thought, well, if people have missed it, they probably won't want to donate, but. And so I'll make sure I offer some things for people if they want digitals or if they want prints and stuff like that, because I still have tons of print copies of the first issue in my house. I mean, they're sort of just taking up space in this box, but
gotcha. You kind of just want to get them at the door at this point.
Yeah, in some ways, and also I just think I just love them. Like I made this thing with my friends.
Second child right here in a box.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's so cool, and so.
So that being said, what kind of reaction have you gotten from the first book?
The first issue, this is my way of manipulating the facts. Allow me to manipulate the facts.
Please continue.
Is Newsarama reviewed it whenever it first hit Comixology, and they gave it a 6 out of 10. Which I feel like.
Now, is this your first comic that you've put together?
Yeah, it's my first book ever. Yeah. Okay. And so for a 6 out of 10, I was like, that's awesome. That's
just
pretty
the fact
cool.
They acknowledged it, I think, is pretty damn good for your first book.
Yeah. And so I thought that was pretty sweet. And then the biggest complaint they had was on the art side, and I felt like, well, that's not my fault. I didn't do the art, so that's okay. And it just wasn't this guy's cup of tea, and that's fine.
See, that's kind of weird too, because that's kind of what drove me to the book.
Yeah, I feel like that's what drove a lot of people into it. Was the style is just very different. Alan looks a lot like Ben Temple-Smith or Ashley Wood, and yeah, it's just I don't know, it's odd and it's fun. But I mean, in fairness, I mean there are a few pages you can tell that Alan didn't put his time into compared to other ones. Yeah, but those pages that are good are like fantastic and are gorgeous. Yeah, they are just like I pages 4 and 5 blow me away every time I look at them. And I think they're gorgeous.
As I'm opening up my iPad now just to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the shooting is.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny is so Newsarama gives it a 6 out of 10. Mostly says that the artwork just needs some work. That same week they gave Justice League of America by Jeff Johns and I think it was David Finch at the time. They gave it a 4 out of 10. And so I spun it like this, and I go, hey, Newsarama gave Noir City a better review than Justice League of America, and Noir City is a fourth of the price of Justice League of America.
I would have done like a victory lap around my town if that was the case.
Yeah, I was just like, because in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, well, when you frame it in that way, I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily true, but sure, okay, whatever.
I would just get the article, just kind of hang it above my computer, just as a reminder, just to make sure to kind of keep your eye on the prize,
That's right. We beat Justice League, and we're only $1 on Comixology, and Justice League was $3.99 or some ridiculous thing.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that, but now, one thing you were saying before, like you were saying with the artists, like that was like their biggest complaint.
Right.
The artwork going from issues 1 to 2 is totally different art style, and just a totally different artist altogether. So why the change in artist?
For one reason is Alan was busy with doing some other projects, and he just didn't really have time to do another issue with us. And so he sort of politely bowed out and said that he just wasn't really into doing another issue. And I met Nathan at a children's authors meeting. I'm not remotely a children's author, but a friend of mine invited me to go speak at it. Mm-hmm. And so I did, and I talked about the Kickstarter experience and stuff like that. And I met Nathan there, and he's like a children's illustrator. I think 2 or 3 weeks afterward, I got an email from my friend that was like, "Hey, this guy wants to get in contact with you about doing like the second issue of your comic." And I go, "All right, whatever." And so, I mean, I had no idea what would come from that. And so he sent me an email and said, "Hey, this is me trying to apply for the job," and he sent me like a black and white sketch of the jacket, and it was really good. I mean, it was really cool looking. But at that point, I was like, I don't really want to do another Kickstarter, and I really wanted to do a Noir City novel with a character called Revolver 666, who is you can get a poster of him on the current Kickstarter. It's just Humphrey Bogart if he was a demon hunter, basically.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that sounds great.
yeah. That's all Rich. That was Rich's idea when we were first coming up with Noir City ideas, was that he wanted to do a Humphrey Bogart who has a gun from Lucifer himself hunting demons and stuff. So yeah, I talked to him about that. Like, we were originally going to do that novel, and Rich was going to write half of it, and I was going to write half. We were going to do like every other chapter on and off, and Rich was just too busy, and we never really got to it. Mm-hmm. That's not off the table, though. I may get to that this summer. I don't know. It just depends on where I am. But yeah. So we were going to do that last summer, and it just didn't come about. And finally, I was just like, let's just do another issue, and I've got this artist that will work on it, And Nathan has been nothing but amazing. I mean, he actually weirdly lives like a block away from where I teach. Mm-hmm. And that's weird because I teach in the middle of nowhere. Like my school is
what are the odds that it was right there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my school is very, very rural. It's very small, and Nathan lives like maybe like a block away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. And he's been just nothing but accommodating. We've met a couple of times to talk about artwork and stuff like that, and so it's a lot closer of a relationship, because Alan and I couldn't have a close relationship because Alan lives in Canada, and so it's just not possible, and so yeah, Nathan has really been killing it on these pages, and they're really fantastic, and they're of course nothing like Alan's work, but yeah, this is the first time that Nathan's ever done like a comic book.
Okay.
And I mean, he's done, like I said, he's done like children's books and stuff like that before, but this is his first comic, and he's just, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, he's really, it looks like he's been doing this for a while.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what you want for someone that comes out of the blue, obviously, too. So that works out great.
Yeah, he gets the lighting down, and one thing too is that when he was sending me all the black and white pages, I was like, man, I don't know that we need to color this, because the black and whites are so good that I don't even know I want them colored. And I'm
a fan of black and white, like a picture, just in general, like photographs. Like, I love black and white styles.
Yeah, and I thought about doing a black and white edition as well as a color edition, but I figure that's just gonna be too much of a headache to juggle. So, and then when I told him, I was like, well, can you color these, to see what they look like? He's like, yeah, sure. And he does them. I'm like, oh god, the colors look even better. like you've nailed all of these things. I mean, everything we do, he does just brilliantly, and so it just blows me away every time we.
It sounds like you got real lucky when this guy found you. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, how many do you know? Like, do you have like a full script written out, ready to go? Like, do you know, like, is this going to be like a 4-issue series in your head? Is it like a 6-issue series, or like an ongoing thing? Like, what are your plans for the future of the series?
If we could go on forever, we would. I mean, Rich has probably got the first like 60 issues planned.
Oh wow!
I mean, he's got a lot of plans for things, and he'll always want to talk about like, here's what we should do for issue 6. I'm like, listen, we don't even have 2 done yet, so can we just like can we wait a moment? Like, let's take it one issue at a time, And so so we've got like the first arc would be like 6 issues or so. And then things take a pretty drastic turn after issue 6, and so then we would have another 6-issue arc that is that's pretty dire, and it's pretty awesome if we ever get to that point.
You better get to that point.
I hope so.
Now, in terms of that, like, just let's go to the Kickstarter thing real quick.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of rewards. The one thing I just wanted to see if you can kind of highlight, you have a trade paperback.
Yeah.
As one of the rewards. What exactly is in the trade?
Well, for the trade, we'll have issue 1 and 2. Also, we'll have some of the process pages that Nathan has done for issue 2. I also was going to include a Thunderfist short story that I wrote. I might instead of the Thunderfist story, I might put in a Revolver 666 story since we've got that that ad in the back for it. So it's a lot of like just extras and goodies of like different posters that were going to be designed that didn't get designed, and things like that. So just a behind the scenes look in addition to the first 2 issues. And I know it seems a little weird to do like an 80-page like 2-issue trade, but I wanted to do something just a little bit ambitious to go along with it as well. Mm-hmm. And also kind of a collector's item type thing. And that's the thing I like about the Kickstarter experience is that it really allows you to we're creating a product of issue 2, but then we can also do all this extra stuff that is just like for fun. Mm-hmm. Like I offered the reward of if anyone wants, I'll do an audio drama of the first 2 issues, and I did it as an April Fool's thing. It was on April Fool's Day that I launched that. But after, like when I was launching it, I thought like I really want to do this. This is ridiculous and fun, and I hope people take me up on it. And the only person that's taking me up on it, I think, is my old roommate. is that she was like, yeah, no, I want that. That sounds good. Well,
that sounds like a great thing that you can even post to YouTube.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking of doing too. Yeah, totally.
It sounds like it's worth it. So, you want to just go over like what are some of the rewards? You want to go over some of the smaller ones?
Yeah, sure. For $5, backers can get the digital copy of issue 2. As we said, that $7 reward is for issues 1 and 2. Then the $10 reward is the print copy of issue 2 and also a digital copy of it as well. $15 reward is another personalized signature from me, and also the artist will get in on it too, because then I won't have to mail it to Canada and I can just hang out with Nathan one day. The $20 reward is you get to see all of the behind-the-scenes stuff that we've got on our website already. It also has the first 12 pages up, too, and I may put up some of the other pages today. It just depends on where I am today. Cool. And then 25, I can't remember what the $25 reward is off the top of my head. But we just have tons of different ones. Like my April Fool's ones were pretty fun. Like I think for $30 you can have a colored drawing from my 16-month-old son. And my in-laws actually backed that one.
That's adorable.
I was like, you can have one for free. You're my in-laws, but all right, that's fine.
Fantastic.
And, yeah. I also had one where I think a $40 reward is I would read your fan fiction of choice.
another YouTube special. So
yeah.
So let me ask you. This is one question I was like, independent artists and writers. If someone's like, let's say they're just interested in writing a comic.
Yeah.
What's some advice that you would give to them? And I'm not even tying in the whole Kickstarter thing. Just advice for people who want to get started.
In my mind, the most important thing is to just sit down and write it, and my thing was that when Rich and I first wrote our first script, we had no idea how to write a script. And so it really reads more like prose than anything else. And then years later, once I learned how to script, I was like, oh, that's how you do that. And so then I formatted it correctly after that. But the first thing I would do is I would just get down every idea that you possibly have for an issue. And then get into the whole research thing. Probably the best place to go is Comic Script Archives. It's a place where you can just look at different comic scripts. Oh, cool. And so people that know nothing about how to script, if they're worried about it, I would go to Comic Script Archive first and give a few things a read. I would also go to Jason Aaron's Where the Hell Am I? He doesn't write it anymore, but it was on Comic Book Resources, and it was a column where comic writer Jason Aaron would just kind of talk about like how he got started in the business, and it's really inspirational. It's also got a lot of really great business tips, like how to talk to editors and stuff like that. And he also gives some scripting advice and things like that too. So, but yeah, that was really influential for me into getting kind of getting our stuff together and sending it out to people. So,
cool.
Yeah, and it's always great to have a co-writer. Like a co-writer is really fantastic because being with Rich is just great because we just bounce ideas off of each other, and sometimes he's just really out there, and I'm like, we can't make that work, and so I'll have to reel him in a little bit, or he'll kind of call me out on like, well, sometimes my scripting style is I'll look at something and go, oh well, that's not explained enough. Maybe we need to add a little bit of dialogue here. And he'll say, I don't care if it's not explained enough. This is a noir book. People are smart enough; they'll figure it out. So just cut that out, And so,
kind of just keeps in check there a little bit.
Yeah. It's like we're both writers and editors of each other, and we're both making sure that it's just the best thing we can be, So I mean, even if you don't have a co-writer, you really have to have somebody that you trust, that will look over whatever you're doing and kind of tell you if it, if you need something changed or whatnot. And so yeah, working with Rich has been fantastic about that. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So let me. I just want to throw this out there. Now we're doing this podcast usually a different time than when I usually post my episode, because we want to get this out before the Kickstarter thing's still going on. But you have something special at the school that you work at. What exactly is going on?
I got stuck with being the prom committee chairman because like no one else had could do it. Everyone else was pretty well busy with other stuff, and
because having like a newborn baby isn't too difficult.
No, I know. I thought about going with that excuse, but there were a couple other people that also have kids, and so I was like, I don't think I can use that excuse this time.
I use it for everything else, but it's not working here.
Yeah, not on this one. And so I just, so I was like, yeah, I'll do prom. And so in September, like way back in September, I called my students in and we sat down and I said, all right, listen, I'm prom committee chairman this year. And so because of that, I feel like the only way I could do a prom is to do a Batman prom. And everyone started clapping. Which kind of shocked me. I really thought that kids would be like, that sounds kind of stupid or hokey or whatever. But I got like a standing ovation. And I go, judging by this reaction, I assume everybody's on board. If there's someone here that does not want this prom, and I understand, I want this to be a democracy. I want you to write down your reasons why you don't want it, get everybody in the room to sign it, and I don't care because we're going to have it anyway. And so yeah, like we've been raising money for this Batman prom all year, and then the coolest thing, and I don't know that she would want me to say this. Well, I'll keep this as vague. I'll keep this pretty vague.
Okay.
I contacted someone at DC Comics, and I said, yeah, I'm doing this Batman prom, and if there's any way that you could donate something, then that would be really fantastic. And I thought, why would you donate anything? You're a major corporation. You don't have to give me anything, And they said, this person responded, I'm more than happy to do that, but only because you have the most adorable baby I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, yes, my kid's winning me over on this.
That's fantastic.
So cut to March, we got a box from DC Comics. We got two boxes from DC Comics that contained 289 comics, 8 trade paperbacks, 10 T-shirts, 8 hats, and 3 statues.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it's well over $1,000 worth of stuff. I mean, it's tons of stuff. that we can just give away at our prom and stuff like that. And so, you know, I've always been a huge DC fan. I mean, DC is just, I've just preferred it to Marvel my entire life. And this moment has been like, you've solidified it forever now for me. Like,
that's awesome. And if you ever get a chance, before, because they're moving April of next year, if you ever get a chance to check out their office in Manhattan, I have a buddy of mine that works there, and it is walking around the offices, you feel like a little kid again. Like there's you can't do anything about it. But that is an awesome story. And so the Kickstarter is going to be going up till next week. Do you have some contact information, websites or anything you kind of want to throw out there?
You can go to noircitycomicbook.com. That is of course the official Noir City website, where you can check out different short stories that we've written and things like that. Also, my personal blog is popgunchaos.com. You can also check me out on Twitter at popgunchaos. And I haven't updated my site in a while, but I've decided that this is the year that I get back into it again. So June 1st, I'm gonna start having like regular posts every day again, and so my site will be fully up and running again, because it's just been too long, and I haven't I'd stopped writing for my website just because I got kind of burnt out on it, and I feel like I need to get back to it again. And so Popgun Chaos is coming back in full swing again on June 1st. So
awesome. Well, Cody Walker, writer of Noir City, Popgun Chaos, and also father of the cutest baby in the world. Cody, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
And there are 6 days left of Noir City up on Kickstarter. As of Thursday night, the program has 6 days to go, and it is just shy, or just a little less than $2,000 till it reaches its goal. I can't recommend it enough. Hope you guys are able to check it out. You can also check me out, MontesMayhem.com. Same thing on Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. And the email is montesmayhem@gmail.com. And also, if you get a chance, up on YouTube, I posted my very late review on the Asbury Park Comic-Con, which will be happening this weekend. If you get a chance, I'd appreciate if you can check out the video. Since Q's not here, I guess I'll wrap everything up. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Just can't